Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Bolts. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away we go for the first time. Nicholas Porcel, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Doms, possibly a little bit of contact.
Now, as we've got three wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the League Zero Racing Series, the premier Formula iRacing League. We're at the California Road Course Long Beach Circuit as we get ready to kick off Round 5, Season 9, the Grand Prix of California. Looks like drivers are getting set up to take this event, and this is going to be an action-packed one. Ray Aguilar starting on pole. Russell Soto starts second. Antonio Bianchi starting third. Jaden Calloway starting fourth. Nick Beaver starting fifth. Christian Gritzko starting sixth. Nick Peterson starts seventh. Julian Mador starting 8th, Shazi Zuhair starting 9th, Craig Brick starting 10th, Adam Plunkett starting 11th, Peter Rettinger starts 12th. Let's cycle it on back to Jace Meyer starting 13th, Julia Cervone starting 14th, Andrew Neri starting 15th, Zachary Bowman starting 16th, Xavier Zanave, the Flying Frenchman, starting 17th, Felipe Ramos starting 18th, Jacob Bramley starting 19th, Leo Dalmas starting 20th, Arturo Mayorga starting 21st, Matt Foster starts 22nd, Alex Jensen starting 23rd, Dustin Oberlo starting 24th. Let's cycle it back one final time. Kyle Oliveira Bastos starting 25th, Chase Small starts 26th, Eric Guillory starting 27th, and Michael Fairchild starting 28th. Looks like the field is just about set here as we get ready to send them out onto the track. We've got Urko joining us in the spectator area. We've got their birthday boy, Finley Fitzsimmons. We've got Ryan Tebow. We've got Jake all joining us. Hey, we've even got Norman King joining us in the spectator side. I think Long Beach brought out some fans to see a little bit of carnage here on the street circuit. Now we're going to start tonight off with our sprint race. And then we'll have a brief intermission, send them right back out on track for the feature. Coming into tonight, Ray Aguilar, your points leader, the number 72 machine, is getting chased by what could be his first full season, Nick Beaver. Just behind with 207 points to his name, Jaden Calloway, the defending champ, currently sits in third at a 61-point deficit to Aguilar. Now, tonight at Long Beach, the opportunity to really shake everything up in the points championship. We've seen big crashes, we've seen parking lots, which is appropriate for the track setting, and we've seen safety cars galore in seasons past. The first time we've ran this course in the Super Formula machine, so this is going to be interesting. Jake is thinking that Gritzko is either going to be finishing up top in that number 91 machine or parking prematurely into a wall. Antonio Bianchi's getting some love from the fans. Nick Beaver's getting some love from the fans. And it looks like Julian Mador is going to start from pit road. And here we go. What's it going to look like into the fountain as the lights go off and we are underway? Oh, that was Russell Soto with a terrible launch, the number 50 machine. Calloway and Bianchi going to move up here quickly. And already it's a parking lot. And the caution will come out before the field is into turn 1. A huge pile up. Let's get the magic button queued up. We're going to focus in on Jace Meyer. the pink and black number 20, and that's going to be the first incident. Excellent timing on the safety car. That came out at exactly the right moment, as there is car parts scattered everywhere here at Long Beach. So involved in that, Jace Meyer, Peter Rettinger, Jacob Bramley, Alex Jensen, Arturo Mayorga, Chase Small, Eric Guillory, Andrew Neri shows involved in that, Julian Mador, Jace Meyer, as it looks like Bramley, Rettinger, and Meyer all take a tow down pit road. As we get the field checked up, crawling to a snail's pace, I think. There we go. There's our iRacing safety car. You know, we have time. Let's get another replay queued up for the fans. There's the initial incident that blocks the track. Was that Rettinger going up and over? And in typical California fashion, a parking lot on the streets. We have some fans asking for the track temps. We got you covered. Looks like about 78 degrees Fahrenheit on the road course. 77 degrees ambient air temp. A fair amount of wind out here in California. Also, apparently this race being held December 31st, 2024. Nice, partly cloudy temps here. As Aguilar is going to be tucked in behind that iRacing safety car. And I think we're going to do one more lap under caution during the sprint. Now, we're not going to see anybody come down pit road unless they have some heavy damage. And tip of the hat, Julian Mador opted to start from pit road. Might have been a wise decision. The drivers that have officially retired, Peter Rettinger, Jace Meyer, Jacob Bradley. This is also going to give Russell Soto, the number 50 machine, a chance to get a little bit better launch. Not the start he was looking for, but maybe with a single file restart, it's going to give him a little bit better chance. These Super Formula machines, tough to get the starting dialed in, as it looks like Alex Jensen, the number 45 machine, is going to come down pit road under caution. Maybe try and get some repairs on that thing. Now, a little bit of an inside scoop. Jace Meyer, who was involved in that opening crash, did get on the radio, let the other drivers know, like, hey, I'm sorry. Rettinger and I were trying to occupy the same spot and wanted to, give a virtual handout to the window to the drivers that were affected in that crash. So good on Meyer. And, I mean, we've got 28 drivers out on track, but everybody, super great guys here on the League Zero circuit. Everybody comes out to race and race hard and understand sometimes things just happen. Oh, Ray Aguilar lighting up the back tires there a little bit behind the safety car. So I believe safety car should be coming down pit road. There it goes. And we are back underway here at Long Beach. Let's see if the single file cleans it up a little bit. Gareth McAllister letting us know that his power's out. He's not going to be able to make it here tonight, so that is very unfortunate. Aguilar leading the field into the first chicane around the fountain here at Long Beach. He's got Jaden Calloway, Russell Soto, Antonio Bianchi, and Nick Beaver in very hot pursuit. There's Bianchi sitting fourth down one spot. Jaden Calloway, the defending champ, didn't have the quali he was looking for, but is up 2 spots early on. Looked like Beaver was trying to take a shot at Bianchi there. Might have tagged the wall slightly, putting Beaver way off the line. Here comes Christian Gritzko in the 91. You heard the fans early on saying checkers or wreckers for that number 91 machine. And it looks like, dare I say, the racing pretty decent here now, as there goes Gritzko. Pointing the wrong way, the track is still clear. Gritzko looking for an opening here. Let's see what happened to him there. Does he take a tow? He does. Gritzko is out of it. We just said checkers or wreckers for the 91. What happens? Just lights up the rear and sends it careening around. Calloway with a quick lap of 107.9. Now, I think we're going to see as possibly as fast as high 105s by the time this is said and done. Also looks like Eric Guillory was involved in an incident that ends up with him taking a tow back to pit road. And it looks like it's going to be a solo incident here. What happened to Guillory? Just misses it into turn 1 and has to retire the race machine. Hate to see that for Guillory as well, the 95 machine. Said he wanted to start off in the back, keep his nose clean. And wasn't quite able to. Now, Bastos, the number 49 machine, he's down pit road, so must have some damage. And Julius Servone, I can't see that car on camera, takes a tow down pit road. Andrew Neri might have been involved in that one in the 64. We're focusing on Servone in the number 18. Oh, and something has happened up front. So that was Servone with Neri getting involved. But something has happened with Russell Soto and Antonio Bianchi. Soto has fallen back to 7th. Bianchi might have got the worst end of the deal. He's back to 9th. Plunkett and Bianchi side by side for 8th. Bianchi, the number 17 machine. Plunkett in the 40. And was that Soto we just saw again? Yes, it was. So let's check on the first crash Soto had. Like a little bit hot, loses the back end. And then oh my goodness, Bianchi just follows suit. Can't believe the field was able to get through that one unscathed. Jace Meyer joined us for the spectator area. Jace involved in that opening lap 1 incident, letting us know that the track is very bumpy, extremely challenging. And Meyer's expecting a lot of solo incidents out on the circuit. Your race leader, Ray Aguilar, has lap traffic ahead of him. That was Kyle Oliveira Bastos who hopped out of the way of the race leader. So well done to him, not wanting to interfere. Jaden Calloway still 1.3 seconds off the back of Aguilar. Nine laps left to go in this sprint. just heard somebody. Was that Callaway dragging the wall, I wonder? These drivers are so fast. Yeah, exactly. Finley Fitzsimmons in the spectator area, another defending champ here. Thinking the same thing I was. Requesting some onboards with how close these drivers have been getting to the safety barriers and wall. Really not much of a safety barrier, really just the wall. Let's see, we're on board with Zuhair. Let's go up to Jaden Callaway sitting in second behind race leader Aguilar. And keep an eye especially on that left wheel of Callaway. Look how close he's getting to the wall. Aguilar with another fastest lap of the race, a 106.570. I mean, no room. I mean, practically dragging the tire there. So that is trust in your machine as well as your racecraft. Now more drivers on pit road, those that have retired. Julia Cervone, Russell Soto, Kyle Oliveira Bastos. Dustin Oberlo has come down pit road in the 42. And then Eric Fox pointed out, these guys are within 1,000th of a second on pace. Aguilar had that 106.570, Callaway a 0.571. So the pace is there for both drivers, and we've seen them both kind of alternating when to use the push to pass. Let's see what the lap times update to. Getting even faster. That time Aguilar a 106.47, improving on his best by a full 10th. Aguilar's been putting in work this season, and you can definitely tell. Still have a battle going on inside the top 5. Shazi Zuhair putting the pressure on Nick Peterson's number 24 machine. But here comes Antonio Bianchi looking for a little bit of redemption at that number 17. On board, Antonio Bianchi, the Italian stallion himself. We can see Zuhair hopping out of line next to Peterson. Gets on the binders. Bianchi comes in a little bit hot there. It's going to lose a little bit of time. There goes Zuhair around the outside and makes the pass on Peterson and does so very cleanly for Shazi Zuhair. These are the 3 closest drivers we have out on track, 5th through 7th. Zuhair, Peterson, and Bianchi. You can also see that was Craig Brick sitting in 4th, piloting the number 7. Brick has gained 6 positions so far here tonight. So now that we had that turn 1, or not even turn 1, lap 1 starting incident, looks like we've actually got a race underway, as there's Alex Jensen, the 45, tucked in behind Foster's 32 machine. Both of these drivers running 13th and 14th, up 9 positions so far. We've got 6 laps left to go in the sprint. Oh no, and Jensen's gonna loop it there. Aguilar up front, getting faster and faster. Jensen looking for a safe way to rejoin. Able to do that. Very, very chrome racing machine. Anthony Malley joining us, cheering on AJ. I assume that's Alex Jensen. Unfortunately, Anthony joining right in time to see Jensen taking a wild ride there. A little further up front, a battle just inside the top 10. Xavier Zanabe, the flying Frenchman, getting chased by Zachary Bowman, the 96. Both these drivers have been very equally matched on pace as well. So that's who Alex Jensen is. All right, we're on the same page. Nicholas Trollman join us in the spectator area. Trollman's cheering on AJ and Nick Beaver. For those that are just joining us here tonight at Long Beach, Nick Beaver, who's getting a lot of love from the fans, currently second in points. Ray Aguilar, the race leader here at the sprint at Long Beach, leading the points championship as well. It looks like Zanave and Bowman starting to catch up to Adam Plunkett in the all-white number 40, but look at this. Here comes Bowman looking for an opportunity behind Zanave, dives in and deep to the inside line, overcooks it, drills the wall, and collects Zanave in the incident. That was a pass that just wasn't fated to happen. Xavier Zanave sitting there thinking of what just went wrong. There's Bowman who goes for the big send, too big. And poor Zanave wasn't able to get free there. And both drivers forced into an early retirement. Looks like a little bit of a lockup there from Peterson as Bianchi, his longtime rival, trying to make something happen. Are we going to see a big send here from Bianchi, or is he going to follow suit? Now, Peterson has been driving a little bit more fire here lately, picking up that first win ever here at League Zero, and he did so in a super formula. But Peterson's got a little bit of confidence underneath him now, and I'm expecting some big things throughout this season of that number 24. On board Bianchi once more, tucked in behind Peterson. Peterson holding on right at a half second and actually gained a little bit here over Bianchi. And one of the other reasons I love these onboards, shows you how fast the circuit is going by for these drivers. Speaking of fast, Callaway answers with the fastest lap of the race, a 10th faster than Aguilar. I think we're going to see some 105s by the end of the feature event here. Chazi Zuhair catching up to the tail end of Craig Brick. This will be the battle for fourth if they have enough laps. Aguilar still out front. We've seen Callaway dip within that 1 second mark a couple of times. But Aguilar still averaging about a second lead over that defending champ. Now, Eric Guillory let us know when he took a tow, he was not able to downshift that racing machine, and that is why he had to retire early. Another incident reported. This time it's Chase Small and Andrew Neri. Both drivers are going to take a tow here, I think. Focusing on Neri. Oh, a checkup there from Small. They get linked up and both get pulverized, resulting in a tow down pit road. White flag will be out next time by for Aguilar. Are we going to see some more sends? Alex Jensen looking for a little bit of a comeback here. Trying to battle against Michael Fairchild. Both drivers on the push to pass into one. Jensen slows down somebody. I think that was Dustin Oberlo in the 42. Pulled over, allowing these drivers by. White flag is out as Aguilar clicks off a 106.2. Screaming in that number 72 machine. And Alex Jensen trying to make something happen against Fairchild. can't find the opening. Now this is the corner that Jensen looped it out in. Keeps the power underneath him, dives to the inside line of Fairchild. Fairchild slices the nose off that 45. Oh, this is going to be good here. Jensen doing a great job staying within 0.2 of a second of Fairchild. As these drivers battling for 12th, get ready to take the white flag. Meanwhile, Ray Aguilar making his way around the circuit. The checkered flag is out. And Ray Aguilar is going to add another win to the belt here. That will be his 4th this season. Jaden Calloway 2nd. Nick Bieber will get 3rd. But still racing on the track. Antonio Bianchi right behind Peterson. And you still have Jensen and Fairchild battling for 12th. Peterson will secure that 6th place spot. What's happening though with Fairchild and Jensen? Still 0.3 of a lap left here. And it looks like Fairchild's going to hold on to it. Jensen tags the wall there. And what a race to cap off the opening sprint. We're going to try and get these top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. And then we'll send them right back out on track for the feature event. We're going to start things off with Mr. Nick Beaver. Join us in 3rd. Nick, welcome back. A good points night. You came into tonight in 2nd in points, and for a Long Beach race, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, you're right. We all expected there'd be a safety car, as did I. I'm glad I wasn't a part of it. I was just happy to get through the first lap or two. And even with that, I was content being 5th. So, yeah, it's nice to get through this one, but we still have one more race to get through.
Yeah, twice the laps, and it's going to be twice as tough for you guys. Now, with that 3rd place starting position going into the feature, is that going to get you maybe further ahead of what could be the meat grinder, or is everybody at risk no matter where you're at on the circuit?
That's a good question. My least favorite place to start is on the outside. Is I don't know. I guess I don't know which lane is going into turn 1, but I do not want to be on the outside. I think that's where you get caught up in other people's mistakes if they happen. So the meat grinder, you never know where it's going to be. I'm just hoping I'm not a part of it. I'd love to get through it and run all 34 laps of the next one.
Well, I'm looking forward to it as well. Nick, before I let you go, you had a lot of love from the fans out there in the broadcast. Who do you want to give a shout-out to that helped make this podium possible for you?
Well, I wish I knew who all was there, but I bet some of it's Nick, some of it's Captain CK, and hello, everybody else, maybe Eric Fox. So thanks for the support. Hannah, hello. And thanks, James, for putting on the show. I'm looking forward to go back and watch this one.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick, and best of luck in the feature.
Thank you so much.
That was Nick Beaver bringing it home in 3rd. Up next, the defending champ, Jaden Calloway. Jaden, at one point, you and Aguilar were clicking off fastest laps of the race within 1,000th of a second of each other. How tough is it going to be for any passes to be made when you guys are so close on pace?
It's going to be almost impossible. The fact that we're so close on pace already makes it difficult. And then we're at Long Beach, and it's already hard to pass here, so it's going to be tough.
Now, so that being said, everybody's pretty equal on pace. It's very difficult to pass. Is this one of those events where you just have points in the back of your mind and looking for a good finish instead of necessarily a first-place finish?
Yeah, definitely. Ultimately, first is the goal, but you need to be thinking about, well, is it worth the risk of pushing really, really hard and ending up smashing a wall, or should you kind of just chill out and try to have a consistent race?
Now, and I'm glad you said that. When you guys were carrying such great pace, there's no room between, especially that front left tire and the walls here at Long Beach. I mean, you guys look like you're practically dragging it along certain sections.
we were dragging it around certain sections. If I went back and watched the replay just now of lap 16, and I was scraped the wall in like 2 or 3 different spots.
Oh boy, so the Ragged Edge. Jaden, this is going to be a great feature event if we can get through the fountain. Before I let you go, unwind a little bit before we send you right back out. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this second place possible for you?
Yeah, as always, I'm going to shout out my friends and family watching and supporting me. I'm going to shout out my teammate AJ. He's actually at his bachelor's party right now, so I hope he's having fun. I'm going to shout out my team, Squid Gang Racing, and my other teammate, Fabian.
Awesome, Jaden. Always a pleasure, buddy. Great talking to you, and best of luck in the feature.
Thank you.
That was Jaden Calloway bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Ray Aguilar. Welcome back to the top spot. 4th win of the season here.
Yeah, it was a good one. I did not expect that. I wasn't thinking when I stepped foot on this treacherous racetrack. I was telling the other guys, there's like a 16.3% chance I crash every lap I'm out there, so the odds are against me in the feature.
Yes, and I think there's even a spot on the bingo board of you taking yourself out of a sprint race. But we felt certain there was going to be a safety car. But do you think that single file restart is why the rest of the race was as clean as we saw?
Yes, for sure. I think we would have seen a couple more wrecks on the first lap with cold tires. This car is basically on ice for the first few laps, and so I'm definitely not going to be pushing hard out there. With 34 laps in the feature, I'm just going to try to keep a consistent pace and not do anything that'll put me in the wall.
Well, it's definitely going to be a game of attrition here under the California sun. Starting on pole for the feature event, does that kind of get you a little bit out of the vortex of danger?
I hope so. I hope it keeps me at least in the front of the pack, and then I can sort of decide when I want to come in, when the stop's going to happen. But I still don't know my strategy. The guys back in Mission Control are trying to work out what lap we come in on, and I still don't have it figured out. So I guess I'm going to have to make a decision on the fly or something like that. What do you think? What lap do you think I should come in?
I think if and when we see a safety car, I think that's going to dictate the pit cycles, I think. I mean, what do you think? Is there any chance we run this thing clean all the way through?
Yeah, we've done it before. When we were in F3, it happened once, but most of the time we have safety cars. I don't know if the back of the pack would chill, because everybody just jams up into the first corner and it's such a tight, slick area. So I wouldn't bet it. Wouldn't bet on it. I bet we have a safety car. I'd give her about 76%.
76. You heard it here first from the mathematician himself. Ray, best of luck in the feature event. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you pick up this 4th win of the season?
My daughter, who just got her wisdom teeth taken out and is very loopy right now. My wife for helping me get through this and keep me racing. And my teammates Antonio and sub teammate Chase Small for really bringing home some results. They actually did well. They started, if you saw, they were fairly conservative, other than at the end. Antonio almost had it. He almost made it through the whole race.
Yep, you can't ask for more. So, Ray, best of luck in the feature event, my friend, and hope to have you back up here.
Yep, thanks so much, James.
That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home in the top spot. He was accompanied by Jaden Calloway second and Nick Beaver rounding out the top 3. Now, don't go anywhere. About 3.5 minutes and closing fast. We're going to send them right back out on track for the feature event here at Long Beach. All right, race fan, it is time to put him back out on track. The feature event here at League Zero, Season 9, Round 5, the Grand Prix of California. Now, the grid was set from the finishing result in the sprint. And we are going to work on trying to get a little bit easier to read background for the driver, the fans at home on the left side of your screen. We had a fan point that out earlier tonight. As we wait for the grid to get lined up here. Now let's see, we didn't even make it to turn 1 proper before we had the safety car in the sprint. Hopefully things are going to go a little bit better for these drivers in the feature. I'm not personally betting on that, but a man can dream. Waiting on a few more drivers to set the stage. And we'll send them out now. Here at League Zero, there's a mandatory tire stop, but everybody should have enough fuel to make it till the end. We're waiting on Julian Medor, Chase Small, Kyle Olivier Bastos, Jacob Bramley, Peter Rettinger. Are they going to take the grid, or are they going to opt to go home early here? And it looks like those drivers are not going to start on the grid and not take to the racetrack. Chase Small, Julian Medor seem to be willing to start from pit road, and we are underway here. Callaway with the race lead. Oh, I'm seeing 3 wide already. That's never good at Long Beach. Do we get through the fountain? Are they learning? Oh, look at them go, ladies and gentlemen. The Super Formula machines are actually going forward. On lap 1 here at Long Beach, I couldn't believe it. We had a couple drivers involved in an incident. Eric Guillory had some sort of damage. It looks like he's limping along there. But for the most part, the drivers got through. So right now your top 3 is Callaway, Aguilar, Beaver, Chazi Zuhair, Antonio Bianchi, longtime rivals. They run 4th and 5th. The top 10 drivers through the hairpin. Adam Plunkett looks like he might have lost the back end. There's a little bit of carnage there. But it looks like the field got through relatively unscathed. Adam Plunkett takes a tow down pit road. So unfortunately, he's going to be done and out of it. Dustin O'Burlow had a checkup into 1. Christian Gritsko able to get around that 91 machine. Gritsko had to retire early in the sprint. So started from the bottom, and now he's here in 18th. That 42 machine is getting something going. Another good battle we have out on track. Michael Fairchild, Andrew Neri running 11th and 12th. Up front, still Callaway, Aguilar, Beaver, 1, 2, 3. And we've got great racing. Dustin O'Burlow, Zachary Bowman briefly going side by side. Bowman looking for an opening. Oh, and he's going to get it as O'Burlow drills the wall. Looked like, unfortunately, I think Julian Medor was tied up in that one. Enhance. Where is he? Medor off track in the runoff zone. There's Callaway, your race leader, with Aguilar, Beaver, Shazi right there in the mix. Now these top four have pulled about a 1.4 second gap over Antonio Bianchi in 5th. Beaver would really like to finish ahead of Aguilar here to try and chip away at the points lead that Aguilar has. And here we go through the hairpin. 1, 2, 3 lined up, nose to tail. Zuhair falling off a little bit there. Antonio Bianchi comes down pit road. We've got another incident. Felipe Ramos looked like he had problems out of the hairpin. We've seen several drivers get loose there, especially when they're on the push to pass. Felipe Ramos, Matt Foster look to be having a battle. Well, it was going to be a battle for 12th. Julie Medor just having a rough go here in that 78 machine. Aguilar losing a little bit of time here to Callaway. Callaway's built up a 1 second gap. And Beaver tagging along behind Aguilar. Beaver's come such a long way in these Super Formula machines. There's Antonio Bianchi out of pit road. Now we talked to the drivers. Pit exit, extremely precarious when rejoining a hot racetrack. And poor Bianchi is just sitting off the track looking for an opening and couldn't find it. Bianchi's going to hemorrhage time there looking for a clear on-track moment. Beaver stalking Aguilar here. Now, for somebody such as Beaver, who's in the past has been a very, very much part-time driver in these Super Formula machines, having the opportunity to tuck in behind somebody such as Aguilar can really pay dividends late in a race, learning from somebody who historically has always been at the point end of the field in the case of Aguilar. Leo Delmas, Andrew Neri down pit road. Adam Plunkett has also come down pit road. Christian Gritzko is going to come down pit road early. As I think there's lap traffic up ahead. Just ahead of Beaver. No, that is Aguilar. And there's Jaden Callaway. I thought it was lap traffic, but it was Aguilar and Beaver closing the gap back to Callaway. There's somebody with a front wing missing. That is going to be Oliviera Bastos, who comes down pit road limping it along. Aguilar with the fastest lap of the race, a 106.55. He was on the push to pass for at least part of that. There's Christian Gritzko rolling back out on track. I know something has happened to Gritzko here. Immediately takes a tow following. Was it an unsafe rejoin? Oh no, it was not a rejoin issue. So unfortunately for Gritzko, he's going to retire from this feature event. Now, I did not expect this much lap traffic, only 7 laps into the feature. And that is a new element that Jaden Callaway might not have been expecting. I think that's Eric Guillory resting off the hairpin there. Might have pushed wide and said, you know what, now's a good time for a bit of a break as the leaders make their way by. Oh, and there's an incident. I think Fairchild and Soto may have been tied up in one together. We're focused in on Fairchild. Soto goes for an opening that I don't think was there. And punts Michael Fairchild. Now Fairchild parked on the surface looking for an opening. There's car parts scattered everywhere. And Fairchild is going to take this opportunity to come down pit road. Now Aguilar has been closing the gap here to Callaway. For the longest time, Callaway had a 1 second margin over the second and third place drivers. Looks like that top three starting to bunch up a little bit here. Beaver has stayed glued to Aguilar for the duration of this stint. And you can see Callaway on the push to pass might want to build up a little bit of breathing room over those second and third place drivers. But we've got a race here at Long Beach. Everybody inside the top three still has plenty of push to pass left. We have whittled it down to 12 drivers on the lead lap. And I believe 18 still on the circuit here. Let's make it 19. I see Adam Plunkett still rolling around the number 40. Thought Plunkett took a tow earlier on, so technically not supposed to be out on track. Checking my notes, I don't see Plunkett. Yeah, he definitely took a tow early on, but maybe said, you know what? I came out here and might as well get some laps in, even if he's not going to be in points contention. As again, the rule is if you take a tow during any of the races, sprint or feature, you are out for that individual race. Now, if you take a tow in the sprint, yes, you can still come back out on track for the feature. And here we go, the battle for the lead. Aguilar trying to make something happen against Callaway. Callaway has a little bit more momentum going to the fountain. Here comes Beaver closing the gap as well. Now these drivers were so incredibly matched on pace, Callaway and Aguilar in the sprint. We saw them put down best lap times at one point within 1/1000th of a second of each other. Beaver's kind of an unknown here inside the top three. Historically, he only gets faster as the night progresses. I wonder if this is going to come down to pit strategy later on. For drivers looking to get a little bit of clean air on the wing of their car. If Aguilar thinks he's faster, I would imagine we'll see him with an undercut. I think that was Eric Guillory again. Parked precariously. What's going on here? Shazi Zuhair is going to come down pit road. Let's see what happened. Eric Guillory, I think, was involved in that one. Trying to find out where that crash happened. I think it might have been on pit out. Julius Cervone was coming back out on track. We're focusing on Xavier Zinave, who I know for certain was involved in that one. Interesting. I'm not quite seeing where that incident was. Get one more opportunity here. Let's focus in on Zinave. Makes it through the fountain unscathed. Guillory loops it, parks it, gets tagged by it, and then flips it back and reverses it. But unfortunately, the damage was already done, as we have drivers parked in very interesting positions here. I'm not sure who that was doing their Austin Powers impression. It wasn't Julius Cervone. Greg Brick's going to come down pit road. Callaway, Aguilar, Beaver still in a heated battle for the lead here. Peterson and Alex Jensen round out the top 5. Jensen's had a bit of a comeback story so far tonight. Definitely did not have the sprint result he was looking for, but right back in the mix in the feature. And if I'm looking at that correctly, only 9 drivers remain on the lead lap, but your top 5 have yet to box. Craig Brick rolls out of pit road, the number 7 machine. And I don't think Beaver's in a hurry to pass Aguilar here. Just kind of tucked in behind that 72 machine. Callaway's pulled about a 7/10 advantage. He was 3/10 of a lap faster than both drivers behind him. And you can see the drivers on the push to pass trying to eke out as much top speed as they possibly can. And you can hear, I hope the fans can hear it as well that we hear up in the booth. The wheels being drug against the wall here at Long Beach, searching for every inch they can push wide, trying to carry as much momentum as physically possible. And after we watched the sprint race, I would have never imagined the top 3 were all going to be within 1 second here, 13 laps into a feature. Now, how is the pit strategy going to play into that as Aguilar got a little bit loose there? And the 72, he was on the push to pass. We've seen it so many times come out of the hairpin. They've got more power available, but look at that. Beaver setting the fastest lap of the race on 106.4. Now, the fans thought that Beaver was conserving push to pass, but right now it shows him in a recharge state. So I'm not sure what the strategy is going to be here. Now we got Ryan Tebow asking us what the pit time is. It looks like on average from some of the faster drivers we've seen come down pit road, do the tire swap, they're spending about 7.3 to 8 seconds in their stall. And let's just watch live together as Nick Beaver's down pit road. Ryan Tebow saying Beaver should pit. Beaver does just that, so might have an eye on the broadcast. Alex Jensen's also going to come down pit road. Beaver's been in the pit lane for a total of 20 seconds so far. It's a long way at Long Beach. "30 seconds in pit road. He's in out of a stall, 7.6 seconds. Total pit lane time will be 44.12 seconds total time spent on pit lane for Nick Beaver. Beaver currently about 38.3 seconds back from the top 2 drivers. And Callaway is going to take that opportunity to come down pit road. Aguilar stays out. You're going to enjoy the clean track. That puts, I believe, currently 8 drivers on the lead lap. Peterson stays out, takes over the second place spot. Unfortunately, Julian Mador takes a tow and will retire from this one. Let's see what happened to Mador here. Gets loose, swaps around, managed to hit front and rear of that car and takes a tow and retires. Callaway was about 4/10 faster than Beaver on pit road, comes out in front of that number 87 machine. And has about a 2.5 second advantage over Beaver here. I'm interested to see what type of time is maybe being caused by the cold tires. Aguilar on the push to pass wants to build up as much breathing room as he possibly can, and does so with a 106.2. Now, after these drivers come down pit road, take their tires, it's going to take them a few laps. You heard Aguilar in the interview following the sprint. The tires are very greasy coming back out on track. I'm waiting to see what Callaway and Beaver do lap time wise now that these tires should be coming up to temp for both of them. Callaway finishes his outlap. Beaver a 106.74. Beaver's fastest lap of the race was a 106.47. So 3/10 slower for Beaver than his fastest. So maybe the tires are starting to come in for him as Aguilar has a moment. He was all over the push to pass, I think. Is he going to come down pit road? No, opts to stay out even longer. A big bobble leading up to the hairpin, only gets a 106.39 on that one. Peterson sitting in second. Peterson and Aguilar, your top two. The only drivers who have yet to box here, as we've got 16 laps left to go at Long Beach. Now we have the rear end dancing around from Aguilar as he has been hammering the push to pass, trying to get as much breathing room built up. He's currently 39.18 seconds ahead of Callaway. I don't think that's enough. I think Callaway is going to take over the race lead on pit strategy. And I agree with Eric Fox here saying he might get swallowed up by Callaway and Beaver, who are going to have well warmed up tires underneath them. As well, Aguilar getting stuck a little bit behind lap traffic. There's Alex Jensen, who is pointing the wrong way there. Aguilar is going to stay out for yet another lap. Last time it was a 106.39, a 106.42 now for Aguilar. Beaver slowly pulling up to Callaway, 1.1 seconds off the back of the defending champ. So Beaver feeling good, finally has those tires warmed up after about 5 laps. Callaway at 1 lap newer, fresher tires underneath them. It's going to take a little bit longer to get up to temp. But is Beaver going to be able to carry the pace without the rabbit to chase of Callaway right in front of him? Right now the field fairly spread out here at Long Beach. And Aguilar stays committed to strategy. I think Aguilar right now on a strategy where he stays out as long as he possibly can to minimize the time he spends on cold tires. I don't know if that's going to be the right call here. Still maintain about the same gap over Callaway and Beaver. But it's not like it's a fuel stop where the longer you're out, the quicker stop it's going to be. With tires, it's going to be pretty much the same for everybody. Beaver still hanging out right around that 1.1 second mark from Callaway. Looks like Beaver gained about 2/10 that last lap. So trying to get something going. Beaver, man, ripping in that Super Formula machine. I've seen this guy race pretty much everything on iRacing, and give him about an hour in the car and he is fast in every single thing he sets foot in. Look at Aguilar though, the first driver into the 105s, a 105.84. Aguilar has built up a 40.6 second advantage over Callaway and Beaver. He really needs a 44 second advantage to account for the pit road time. Now earlier you heard me say I don't think Aguilar was on the right strategy. Maybe he's going to prove us wrong here. Beaver within 7/10 of Callaway, trying to catch the draft off the back of the number 1 machine. Callaway's not going to make it easy, but look at the legs Beaver has in that number 87. Gets it within 4/10, hard on the binders here. Looks like Callaway just a little bit faster there through the fountain, but there's a little bit of lap traffic ahead. Hops out of the way. Not quite sure who that was, but well done to the driver, realizing there's a pretty intense battle for that final podium spot. Now Beaver came into tonight second in points. Really a third or a fourth would still be great for him. You heard him after the sprint saying, hey, I would have been happy with a clean top 5. Aguilar still out on his original set of tires. That hairpin extremely difficult for the drivers. And look at that, Callaway's on the push to pass. Does he gain any ground on Beaver? Is Beaver well enough in the draft to negate the effects? Callaway off the button, maybe realizing not going to be able to get much of a breakaway as Beaver was right there with him. Both drivers dragging the wall. Beaver hanging out right at 4/10 of a second. Off the back of Callaway's gearbox. We really haven't seen Beaver and Callaway with too much head-to-head racing here in the past. And interesting to see Callaway just tapping the push to pass every now and then, quickly turning it off. I wonder if that's a chess game to try and get Beaver to use more of his push to pass. Or maybe Callaway going for the micro burst here. Beaver all over the back of Callaway. They've got to be mindful to not slow down the pace too much. They don't want Aguilar to get a break. And look at that, Beaver's on the push to pass while Callaway's recharging. Are we going to see a sit here from Beaver? Side by side they go at Long Beach. Callaway's going to try and guard the inside line. Oh, they both lock up slightly. Side by side, they're going to crash. They're into the fountain. Beaver and Callaway have just wadded it up here. Callaway looks like he gets the worst end of it. He's parked in the grass. No, and Callaway takes a tow. He's out. He's done. Well, let's see what happened here. They're side by side. Both drivers with a little bit of a lockup, still side by side. And, that's going to be tough. I can't tell if Beaver got into Callaway or what the call is going to be on that one. Let's check it out here. You can see both drivers, jockeying for position. And I think Beaver either tagged the back right or net coded into Callaway. And Callaway, hands down, got the worst end of it. Callaway takes a tow back to pit road. He's done and out. Aguilar has got to be happy up in that top spot. And that could very well, I think it did. I think that gave the race to Aguilar, barring any big problems. Peterson in second. Right now, the top two drivers, the only ones who have yet to box, Aguilar and Peterson. Chase Small comes down pit road for a second stop in that number 5 machine. And for those keeping track at home, we are down to 7 drivers on the lead lap. And I believe if Chase Small returns to the track, we're only going to have 12 drivers still rolling here. Now, Michael Fairchild, he put up a poll about the sprint, about how many cars will finish the sprint, where most of the racers said 14 to 19. Unfortunately, we didn't have a poll for the feature event, but it's looking like it's going to be that 10 to 13 number. 4 people even voted there was going to be less than 10 drivers finishing the sprint. So the field keeps marching along here, with Aguilar's biggest worry is pushing too hard or maybe finding himself involved in traffic, and it looks like we've only got 4 drivers on the lead lap. Bit of a bloodbath here at Long Beach. And Aguilar's definitely backed off the pace, a 107.55 his last time by. I think Aguilar's cruising right now, wants to get the back-to-back wins at Long Beach, extend that points lead over Nick Beaver. Beaver's still out on track in 3rd. I'm very interested to see, following this race, what race control's verdict is going to be for some of these incidents. Now the fans are asking, does Beaver have a wing? And no is the answer. Nick Beaver out on track, missing the front wing. No front arrow to speak of in that 87. Last time he clicked off a 107.3. Let's see what it updates to, a 107.1. So he's a full second off of his fastest lap of the race, but with no front arrow, pretty impressive. Surely Beaver knows he's missing the wing, right? Beaver giving a little bit of a love tap to the wall, and the love seat backed car. Antonio Bianchi has big issues, missing the front right. And Bianchi's going to take a tow here, I think, pulling off of the race line. And yes, he does. Bianchi says, look, it's going to be in the fountain. Is that a solo incident for the 17? Pushes wide into one, drills the wall, disconnects the front right. Takes the scenic route, cutting the grass here in California, before being forced into an early retirement. So for those keeping track, I believe we're down to 11 drivers out on the circuit at this point. And all sorts of disarray. I would say I've never seen so much attrition, but we've definitely seen it before, especially at Long Beach. I'm very worried about Beaver still pushing without that front wing. Maybe the fans can let me know. There's got to be a notification for the drivers that they're driving with damage, correct? And I'm surprised that there wouldn't be a meatball flag for Beaver if he is, he is missing that wing. Beaver's not one to ignore any safety flags from the stewards. But if he doesn't have a meatball flag, it might benefit him to stay out. He's still holding 11.9 seconds up over Zuhair. So what I'm kind of guessing is happening here is I'm thinking Beaver doesn't have a meatball, or he would have come down pit road already. But he's a good enough racer. Surely, I think it'd be impossible for him to not know he's driving with damage, or at least with no front arrow. Or at the very least knowing, hey, something's amiss with the car here. So I think my theory is Beaver knows he has damage. We're thinking he doesn't have a meatball, but he's seeing that 4th place is not really closing the gap. So he's going to stay out till the end of this thing. and try and lock up a podium. That's my theory here. Now, before tonight, I've never really felt a need for us in the broadcast booth to see what onboard flags are being displayed to the drivers. I think tonight is one of those nights where I really wish we had that capability. And you can tell how tentative Beaver is driving here. And we know Beaver was involved in that incident. I'm thinking back here. I believe the current penalty system at League Zero is a points deduction system. So let's talk in a bunch of hypotheticals here. If hypothetically Beaver is found at fault for that earlier incident with Jayden Calloway, he would not be docked positions in the race result finish, but he could be docked points as well as being awarded different penalties such as a qualifying ban. Again, these are all hypotheticals. I'm not sure how race control is going to view that incident. But Beaver, again, if he does not have a meatball, is on a good strategy to bring home a third. Aguilar and Peterson down pit road for their one and only stop, really. How's the track going to be looking for Aguilar? I think that was Felipe Ramos just ahead of him. No, that wasn't Ramos. That was Xavier Zanave. Now that lap prior, Aguilar was cooking a 115.64. And we thought Aguilar backed it off. And look at this, Beaver up into second place with no front wing. And still on the push to pass. The absolute mad lad. Peterson falls back to third. And Peterson's going to have company here as there's Shazi Zuhair. The number 10, the lone Canadian, still out on track circulating. Still 11 drivers out on track. Zuhair is going to be pushing hard here in that number 10 machine. He sees a possible podium ahead of him. Ray came down pit road the last lap. And he's got... Oh, that's going to be Zuhair pushing Peterson. I thought Zuhair had it there. This is going to be Aguilar's first flying lap after the pit stop. Shazi Zuhair getting some love from the fans. Zuhair's highest finish so far this season. His only podium was at Road Atlanta in the sprint race where he picked up a second. That was back January 18th, so he's going to be pushing hard here to try and get around Peterson. But we talked about Peterson early on the show. He's got that first win under his belt and has been driving very, very well. Peterson's on the push to pass. Running out, it looks like. Zuhair staying right there with him. White flag is unfurled at the line as here comes Aguilar. White flag is out here in Long Beach. Aguilar holding an 8.3 second advantage over Beaver. Beaver 13.3 up over Peterson. And Peterson has his hands absolutely full with Shazi Zuhair. Peterson's out of push to pass, but Zuhair spins up the rear tires. That's going to give Peterson a huge advantage here. Now it's 1.4 seconds back in the advantage of Peterson. Zuhair still has push to pass left, but he's recharging here. Aguilar has a half lap left to go at Long Beach, and he's going to most likely make it back to back. And it looks like Zuhair back on the push to pass, but tough to control that Super Formula machine when the magic button is pressed. Closing the gap slightly to Peterson, but Peterson might have built up too much of an advantage here. Checkered flag is out. Aguilar's going to make it back to back here at Long Beach. Beaver with no front wing secures the second. And it looks like it is going to be Nick Peterson rounding out the top three. Final tally, it looks like 11 drivers, I believe, finished this thing. And Peterson pumped to be on the podium. I think that's Craig Brick also smoking it down. Andrew Neri didn't realize there was a party going on in turn one. As we get our drivers up here into victory lane, we'll start things off with Nick Peterson, number 24 machine. Nick, you get a win and suddenly a lot more momentum for you in that 24.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from, honestly, and this is not my strong suit. I don't like this track.
Now, it looked like Zuhair was going to do everything he could to knock you off that podium. I know you had to drive very defensively, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that kind of took away the opportunity to try and track down Beaver, who was driving wounded late in that race.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't too worried about Beaver. I figured he was getting second place either way. I was worried about Shaji, and I got lucky that I stayed out as long as I did, and
Yeah.
I made up a lot of time on him.
Now, was that something that you and Aguilar kind of orchestrated? Because you were the only two drivers that looked like on that strategy.
I was keeping track of my times, and I wasn't slowing down, so I figured, there's no point to pit early if I'm running the same lap times.
Well, it was a great night for you, a great points night as well. Chipping away, getting closer and closer to the top three. So good to have you back up here once again on the podium. And Nick, before I let you go unwind from a grueling street circuit race, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make it happen?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to my wife Laura for cheering me on and watching, and for my dad as well.
Awesome. Nick, always a pleasure having you up here, buddy, and congratulations again on a very hard-fought podium.
Thanks, James. It's always fun to talk to you.
Well, couldn't do it without you, buddy. That was Nick Peterson bringing it home. And third, up next, Mr. Nick Beaver, the number 87 machine. Nick, how many laps did you do with no front wing?
I ran from lap 23 to 34, so about 11 laps.
That's an
11 laps,
excruciating
no
long
way.
time.
It was, yeah. Yeah.
Now, after that incident, did you know immediately that you had no front arrow?
I did, yeah. Luckily, the spotter came in and said, "You suck," and also your wing fell off.
That's fair. I mean, he wasn't wrong in at least half of that one. But so with the new penalty system, I'm not sure how this is going to shake down, but in no danger of losing any positions. But how careful did you have to drive without pushing that front end towards a wall here?
Yeah, I had to back up the corner and roll it a little more, but towards the end, I feel like I was getting the hang of it. I was still able to run like mid 106s if I was consistent. So, man, I wish that didn't happen. I feel so bad for Jaden. That's not how I like to race. So, I owe him an extensive apology after this.
Well, that's the beautiful thing of online racing. Everybody's quick to reach, but Nick, it's still a relatively great race all the way around. Came into tonight second in points. Looks like you're going to walk away with second in points, and still some great momentum for you and the team.
Yeah, looking forward to the coming weeks. Coming into each night, I still feel like I have low confidence with this car, but week after week, it looks like I can manage it pretty well. So yeah, with each passing week, it's more fun to put this car on more diverse tracks.
Well, Nick, a lot of fun watching that race unfold. A great run for the 87. And before I let you go and unwind from this one, who do you want to give a shout to that helped to make the podium possible for you?
Shout out to Nick Troman for watching, and then Hannah for popping in and keeping me some company. So thanks to those folks and whoever else is watching. Thanks, James, for putting it on, and congratulations, Ray, for getting another win.
Awesome. Nick, always a pleasure, bud, and hope to have you back up here next week.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
That was Nick Beaver bringing it home in second. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, back-to-back, Ray Aguilar. Welcome, my long-haired, beautiful friend. What a night here at Long Beach.
Yeah, they said it couldn't be done. They said I couldn't keep it on the Long Beach track, and somehow I pulled it off. I'm really happy with that. I think I would have pulled it out either way, but I would have loved to have seen how that turned out at the end if those guys wouldn't have gotten to their issue in turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, the different pit strategies was super fun for us to watch up here in the booth. We didn't quite know how it was going to shake out, but it looked like you saw, hey, we're not going to have any safety cars. Let's minimize the time we're spending on these cold tires and those, 2-3 subsequent slow laps, and it seemed like it worked out flawlessly.
Yep, I knew I was going to go, unless I was forced in, I knew I was going to go long, and I was just going to push until the tires start falling off. And that was, I don't know, about 6 laps left. They finally started fading. They were just getting quicker and quicker until then. So I think that's the cool part about this new car we got, this whole package in iRacing, is that we've got new strategy options and it's fun to play with. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. We'll figure it out on Thursdays.
Yeah, super fun for us to watch. A great night back-to-back. I know you've been very championship focused so far this season. How much of a relief is that to really stack up some points here on a race that can historically put people out of the championship?
It's a big one. I feel like the luck's been going my way recently. I had a bad season last season, had some bad luck, made some mistakes. I feel like that's happening to Jaden now, unfortunately, and he's like, super fast, so it sucks to see. So hopefully we'll get the last half of the season. He'll get lined out, I'll be lined out, and we'll see some good racing.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Ray, we go to Silverstone next week, the British Grand Prix. How you feeling at that one? A world-famous circuit that we've seen a whole lot of action in over our years here at League Zero.
Not my favorite, but it's a decent track. There's a lot of nuance to it. I'm hoping I can find some speed for it. And then we go into a break, maybe 1 or 2 races after that. So I don't know. I'm hoping to just stack up some good points over the next 3 races and sort of really solidify where the points are. We got drop weeks coming in, so we got to think about those soon. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here at League Zero.
Awesome. Looking forward to another great season. This one's really shaping up to be quite an intense championship. And Ray, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the night. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps make it back-to-back here at the California streets?
I would not be here without Zoe and Max, my good friend, basically my Nostradamus, Charlie Z, number 89. And you know what? TGS. You guys make it fun enough to come do this stuff each week and make us feel like real race car drivers out there. So we also love you, James.
Well, awesome. I love you too, buddy. Couldn't do it without you guys, the racers. And again, huge congratulations on the back-to-back here tonight.
Thanks, buddy.
That was Ray Aguilar bringing it home in the top spot. He was accompanied by Nick Beaver in second and Nick Peterson rounding out the podium here at the feature event. It was a night of attrition. It was a night of carnage, and it was a great night for several drivers looking for points. On behalf of LeagueZero.net, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Thursday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.